how is that going to affect the economy there?
Well, of course, it's going to affect it badly. If you cannot get the money, you cannot spend it. And we're not reverting to a barter economy yet, anyway. But no, of course, the Greek economy is going to collapse this week and probably for a while. People are terrified, and you would be too. So would I.
What about the overall picture here? Greece blames the EU for the debt crisis, but its finances and policies have been in a really bad state since joining the euro, really. Surely you should take some responsibility.
The Greek economy has been in a bad shape for about 190 years. This goes back to when they became independent a long time ago. No, you're exactly right. This economy has been having recurrent crisis since they joined the EU. This has been going on for several years now. If you ask me, what they should do is just go ahead and go bankrupt, get it over with, and start over. But all of this calling names and blaming it on other people is not going to do any good.
Citizens are being restricted to withdrawing only €60 a day from their bank accounts, as I said, for at least a week. Do you think they're going to reject the EU's terms come Sunday?
No, I'm sure they will accept it.
Resounding vote, the people of Greece have told their European creditors they've had enough of austerity. Thousands of Greeks waving flags and chanting poured into central Athens Sunday night after it became clear that their country had rejected Europe's most recent bailout proposal. Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras took to the airwaves, telling Greeks they had made a brave choice. But he also called for an immediate resumption of negotiations to help Greece overcome its massive debt books.
Today's referendum, it has no winners or losers. It's a great victory itself. Today, altogether, we wrote a bright page on modern European history. So, which proves that you cannot blackmail democracy.
Here is the final tally. With all the votes counted, Greeks voted no 61% to 39%. European leaders plan to talk in the coming hours about what comes next. And a European Union summit is now set for Tuesday. Greece's government says it doesn't want to leave the Eurozone, but Greek voters made clear they are fed up with Europe's demands.
To attack Iran's nuclear sites. This before Russia finalizes its shipment of nuclear fuel to Iran. Joining me for more on the story's investigative journalist and RT contributor, Wayne Madsen. Hey there, Wayne. Now, the Iranian people are aware of Israel's attack. And, you know, we just had a report showing that before the war in Iraq, there were human shields. There were a lot of people who tried to prevent that war, this, you know, people's diplomacy. And we have that now with Iran. A lot of American civilians going over there to engage in this kind of diplomacy. Is it going to work in preventing war with Iran?
Oh, absolutely not. If the Israelis decide to attack Iran, it doesn't matter whether there's civilian volunteers over there, the New York Yankees happen to be in Tehran. None of that's going to matter. They're going to hit Iran, and people like John Bolton he's one of these old neocon types, the ones who lied about intelligence to get us into the Iraq war, and they continue to hype up intelligence, cook it. They provide false information, and Bolton is keying everything to this August 21st date. The Bushehr reactor is a peaceful power reactor. It has nothing to do with weapons production.
Now, I want to ask you something else, because Bolton says that they need to attack Iran. They need to attack Iran by August 21st, because if they do so afterwards, it's going to endanger Iranian civilians. Radiation is going to go out and everything else. But is the worry here that if the Russians do transfer this before August 21st, it would bring Russia into the equation of attacking Iran?
Well, the Russian technicians and engineers are already in Bushehr, so whether it happens before August 21st, on that day, or after, there could be Russian casualties. And yes, it would bring Russia into the equation. And as far as radiation, of course, we hear that Israel may be targeting other Iranian nuclear facilities in Natanz and in Qom and in Tehran itself. So the fact is that radiation would be a big problem with monsoon rains coming from the Central Asian steppes, swinging south, picking up radiation, and possibly dumping this radioactive rain on 3 other nuclear powers, Pakistan, India, and China. This could get out of hand very, very rapidly.
Anything, never got co-sponsors, and then by the time he left Congress, much of the Tea Party movement had adopted his Americana ideas. That said, former Congressman Ron Paul joins us. I want to cover the waterfront with him. First off, a few weeks ago, you put out an alert saying that get ready for serious crises in the stock market. You talked about problems in the bond market. You said a day of reckoning was coming. We're getting closer to the big event. In your own words, being a von Mises Institute fellow, being on the banking committee, understanding the inside baseball, is the day of judgment for the Federal Reserve and other private central banks coming?
Yeah, I think for the not to come would be a surprise to me. And you've been involved in this a long time. I mean, it wasn't like you didn't know what was happening with the housing bubble. And we had the NASDAQ bubble. And now we have other bubbles. We still have another stock market bubble, and there's another housing bubble going on. But the big bubble, I think, is in the bond bubble. It's been going on for 35 years, taking interest rates from 21% down to actually negative. And they've been getting away with it. So this means distortion. Not only is there money involved, but it distorted all the investment over these periods of time. And the biggest distortion that it encourages debt. It encourages debt for a lot of people, but in particular government. And as long as our government is able to print the reserve currency, it's going to limp along, even though our economy is limping along. But that will come to an end. And right now we're starting to see the whole thing coming apart.
Vote now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. Ye have lived in pleasure on the earth, and been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts, as in a day of slaughter. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you.